So today I thought I'd build some really fun glamping tents, and I thought you might like to join me. So this Easter we thought we'd do something really fun with the kids. They've been wanting to go camping for a while, but instead of actually heading out and pitching a tent, we thought we would pitch some glamping tents indoors. So we had the really cool idea of building some glamping tents ourselves and personalizing them for each of our kids. So I thought you might like to join us on this journey. So let's get building. So the first thing we need to do is to build the tent. So what I've done is I've set up some sawhorses here with our bits of timber, and we're going to be building the frame. And once we've built the frame, then we'll be able to go ahead and decorate and do all that fun stuff and make them into actual tents. So let's get building. Starting with the 2.4 meter timber, measure halfway and then use your jigsaw to cut it in half, and then repeat that with the 3 meter timbers. Now the 2.4 meter timbers I'm using for my A-frame, and the 3 meter timbers I'm using for my supports. Once you have your A-frame, take the newly cut 2.4 meter timbers, which is now 1.2 meters, and measure 100 millimeters from the top and draw a line using a square, and then 25 millimeters from the bottom. Then using a square, draw a line across the timber and pre-drill a hole in the middle of each using a 5 millimeter drill bit. So for the A-frame, we pre-drilled holes up the top. This is our front, this is our back. And then at the bottom of the A-frame, we also drilled holes at the bottom to connect the sides of the tent. Supporting timbers, so now you've cut those in half. Pre-drill a hole in the center of each using a 2.5 millimeter drill bit. Hold your A-frame on an angle, and then insert the 65 millimeter screw through the top hole. The remaining two supports between the feet of the A-frame and secured to the bottom of the A-frame using the 50 millimeter screws. So now that we have our frame built, what we want to do is we want to now make it feel more like a tent. So I bought some calico, which is going to be the sides of the tent and the back of the tent. But before we do that, what I want to do is make sure that the tent's not going to open and close on its own accord. So I bought this hessian, just get it from a craft shop or Bunnings or wherever else. And basically, I'm going to be putting a piece across the front and the back so it's secure, so that we can close it and store it away. But once it's open, it opens at the perfect distance that's going to fit our mattress that we've measured our tent to, with some upholstery tacks. And then I'm just going to hot glue the end of each of the hessian on either sides at the back here, just so that the ends don't fray, and it's just for longevity. So our supports are now in place front and back, so that means that our tent will not open any wider than we want it to, but it also allows me, because I haven't put anything obstructing here, it allows me to close the tent when we're not using it and store it away, which is really important because I do not want these out 24/7. I'm going to start working on the tent and putting the calico over the tent to make it feel like a tent. Pull the material over the frame so it hangs over the top vertical support evenly. Fold the material to create a hem at the front, approximately 20 millimeters, then fold a second time, so doubling the hem. Pull the material each side of the supporting pine tightly. Check the length on both sides of the bottom supports to ensure it's even. Working from front to back, wrap the material under the bottom support and use a hot glue gun to secure the material to the frame. Alternatively, you can secure it with upholstery pins, or you can use a stapler. Repeat it on the other side until you have secured both sides under the support. Now all of the material is on the tent. Looks quite beautiful. So we have this excess piece here, and rather than cut it, we've actually just decided to fold it over. So we're just going to fold it. There we go. So we're just going to fold it over a couple of times, because we want to keep the excess to create a little curtain for the back. Just some pinking shears. Now you don't have to use them, but I had them handy because Mum used to be a dressmaker, which is very handy. So I raided her craft room, but you don't have to do that. And basically they look like this. They have a serrated edge, and what it does is it just stops the material from fraying. So really simple, but you can just cut it. And then I've just got some peel and stick Velcro, which I'm going to be peeling and sticking and putting on here. So we have finished the tent. So we have our material in place. The tent is looking pretty good. We have a little camping mattress that we're going to be using in ours. But first things first, we're going to decorate the tent. So I want to make it a little bit extra special for the kids. So I'm going to be using some pretty little fairy lights. I've made a little sign, which I'm going to show you how I make that in a minute. And yeah, let's get decorating. I'm using a 10-meter string of battery operated lights because I want to wrap around the frame but also go front and back. So what I did is I just start at the bottom of the A-frame, I work up one side, I work down the center and then wrap it around the top of the A-frame at the back and back up the center and then wrap it down the other side of the A-frame. And that pretty much uses up all of my lights. To personalize each of the tents, I created some little signs using some plywood that we had laying around the house. And I primed them and painted them just using a Luxe chalk paint, and then used my Cricut Joy to create some pretty little personalized vinyls for each of the signs. Then personalize each of the tents. So I have 2 girls and a boy, which is why I have these pretty little vines growing up each of the girls' tents, and then just used a greenery wreath at the back of my dinosaur for Connor. Kids are absolutely delighted how these turned out and they can't wait to use them this Easter. For more home and DIY projects, then hit subscribe, and I can't wait to see you in the next video.